It's that time again. It's time for another book review. Hey guys, it's Dan, and this time I'm here to review Until Summer Comes Around by Glenn Rolfe. And to be quite honest with you, this is my first time reading this author. I've heard many great things about this author. For instance, his Blood and Rain, I've heard a lot about. That's a book about werewolves. So, of course, after reading this, I put that one on my TBR. And I've also heard about The Window, which I'm kind of not really 100% sure that I'm sold on wanting to read that one. But if I read Blood and Rain and really enjoy it, then I'll go ahead and check out The Window. But enough of that. Let's get on with about this book. This is his newest one from Flame Tree Press. I don't really... Yeah, okay. It came out in May 2020. I have to say, first off, a lot of people, were kept kind of trying to hype this as being that it's a lot like Lost Boys. The film from the late 80s, early 90s about the vampires in a seaside town, but that's West Coast. This story takes place on the East Coast, and the only thing that it really has in common with Lost Boys is a summertime romance. I'm going to leave it at that. Summertime romance and vampires. That's about it. But this one takes place in the summer of 1986 in Old Orchard Beach, Maine, which is a seaside town. You can really get the feel that Glenn Rolfe is really familiar with this town, and there's a bit of nostalgia. I feel like ever since Ready Player One, a lot of people have been trying to throw in nostalgia into their works. And sometimes it can be done well, and sometimes it feels a little overdone. And yeah, but anyways, the main character is Rocky Zukas, and it says he's 15 years old on the back here, but I swear when I was reading this, I swear it said he was 16. Oh, that's right, he had a birthday. So he's 15 at the start of the story. He becomes 16 as the story progresses, so that's why I remembered that. But he's kind of bummed out because his best friend / cousin Axel is going away for the summer, and he's like, what am I going to do all summer long? You know, I'm not going to have anybody to hang out with, and he's anxious about taking his summer driving test so he can get his license, and then one day he sees this girl out on the pier, and he's just, drawn in, and that's why I'm going to say there's a duality when it comes to this book. It seemed to mainly consist of the romance storyline with Rocky and this mysterious girl he meets on the pier, with kind of the sub-story of, these people going missing. First it's like a few teenagers going missing, and then adults start going missing. And that kind of, if you've not seen the film, the summer of '84, it really kind of had those kind of vibes to it. It had a summer of '84 kind of vibe with the missing people. But you're not left in the dark for very long. It's kind of revealed early on who's behind the disappearances. And that's where we're introduced to the main villain, the vampire of the story. And I can't really say too much more about him. But I'm kind of glad I listened to a podcast he did a couple of podcasts. I think I listened to 2 or 3 podcasts with Glenn Rolfe, and he talked about this new book. And I'm kind of glad that I listened to the podcast, because he says, this is his take on the trope. That he decided to take on the vampire trope, and he wanted to do something different. And that's why the vampires in this book are slightly different. They can come out in the day. While I say that it's not Twilight. But at the same time, with the romance aspect of this book, I think that people who enjoyed Twilight, you may also enjoy this book as well. But it is not Twilight. It is kind of... It's different. It's Glenn's take on the vampire. It's its own thing. It is slightly different. But, if you have that expectations of the classic vampire, I'm going to just let you know that right now. It's not the traditional classic vampire story. I'm not going to go into too much detail about those kind of vampires that are in this book because I feel like if I tell you too much, I reveal too much, it's going to spoil it. So I'm going to just leave it at that. There were some inconsistencies with some of the nostalgia aspects to this book, where some things were... He likes to name drop a lot of different things like games and bands, and I mean, you can tell that Glenn's a music guy. And I can totally agree with some of his tastes in music. But there's a lot of name dropping in this book going on. And at times, if you can just kind of gloss over that stuff and not take it to heart, I mean, don't be one of those people who's going to be like, well, that wasn't around in the summer of 1986. You just kind of, you have to be able to overlook that kind of stuff if you are someone who grew up during that time period. I know looking at the reviews, I saw that some people just could not get over the fact that some of the things just didn't jive well, considering like certain things that were mentioned. But, I tried to overlook that because, every book is its own universe, and it doesn't necessarily have to be our universe, per se. But yeah, I did enjoy this. Like I said, this is my first time reading Glenn's work. I did enjoy it. I do feel like the vampire aspect of this could have been more menacing. I felt like it wasn't as menacing as you kind of expect when it comes to vampires. I felt like this should have been way more menacing. It should have had a more menacing feel to it. It felt very too rushed. It was very fast-paced. It's only 229 pages, and for some reason Goodreads says it's 288, and that's wrong because it's only 229. It felt very kind of rushed and forced, like it ended too soon, and I wish there would have been a little more background into the vampires, just like you're kind of introduced to the concept of the vampires and how they're different, and then it's just kind of left at that, and you're only given little tidbits here and there. And like I said, if that would have been more reinforced and a little more background, and like if it was made a little more menacing, I think I would have enjoyed this that much more. But like I said, I did enjoy this. I appreciated the ending. I did like the ending, and when you get to the end of the book, the title makes that much more sense. It's kind of a sweet little ending, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm not going to spoil it, because, it is worth picking up and checking out. For those of you guys in the U.S., I will have a link to Amazon down below if you want to pick up this book for yourselves. You can buy it directly from Flame Tree Press, but, like everybody else knows, you can get a better deal at Amazon, so that's why I always throw it on Amazon. Plus, I'm not getting AdSense, so affiliate links help me mightily. For those of you international folks, I will have a bookshop.org link. I'm going to try to see... I'm pretty sure this is probably going to be on bookshop.org, and you can pick up a copy there. If not, I'm sure you can search Kindle in your region, and they're more than likely going to have it there. I'm also going to throw down my Ko-fi link. If you got something out of watching this video, if you enjoy my reviews, if you're a subscriber, and if you're not a subscriber, what are you doing? Hit that subscriber button and hit that notification bell while you're at it. But I throw down my Ko-fi link if you don't mind donating a few dollars to my channel to help support me. It greatly helps out as I'm not receiving AdSense. Slowly growing. I do have a goal of reaching 1,000 subscribers by the new year. More and more, this looks like it's so far away, but yet so close. That's all I got for you guys. And like I said, if you came here looking for book reviews and recommendations, I'm actually, when I was nearing the end of this, I was thinking about doing a vampire recommendation video, because I've read so many vampire books, and I could definitely recommend you guys some vampire books. I definitely would include some that I'm more remembering or familiar with, and then there's some that I'm a bit fuzzy on, so I would give those honorable mentions. But if you want to see that, please comment down below, and I will go ahead and make that happen. That's all I got for you guys. This has been Dan. Until next time, stay healthy and be good to each other.